Hey there, party people! I am back with another tier list on the Anime Void. This time of my favorite Saber servants. Well, just a tier list of all the Saber servants, I mean. It's another off-the-cuff thing. I have no idea what I'm talking about at any given time. But the idea for this video is basically I wanted to make a tier list of all of the Fate Grand Order servants. But doing them all at once sounded like an impossibly long video where I would lose my mind and you would all be extremely bored of it. So I figured making digestible videos for each class, and then at the end I'm going to take all the ones that end up in the EX tier, and those are going to basically be ranked all of my most favorite of favorite servants, basically. And really that's all there is to it. Very straightforward video, so let's get into it, starting with the original, the OG, Saber. Now, I have gone on a soapbox for Saber several times on this channel with how FGO treats her and the absolute BS of her not getting anything, really. The most she got was invisible air, and personally I think that's trash. She only has 2 room dialogues for 2 characters, being Gilgamesh and Emiya. And I want you to think about that. Think of all the characters that are connected to her. Not even Muramasa gets a voice line from her. She doesn't have to be in stories or anything, but by God, the absolute disrespect the devs and writers give her, and despite all of it, she is still EX for me. I'm not asking for a lot, I'm just asking for anything. Continuing the Artoria train for a little bit, we got Salter, who is kind of a nothing until Shinjuku? Yeah. Before then, there's not really a lot to this character. Let's be quite honest here. Did have a little thing in Singularity F, but after Shinjuku, she really got into the light and she gets to A tier. Saber Lily basically doesn't exist, like conceptually. Like, I don't think that's a controversial thing to say. It's like, she's fun as a concept and everything, and her Saber Wars thing was also fun, but ever since then, and even before then, she doesn't really exist. I'll give her the C tier, again, just based on Saber Wars. Nero gets A tier because Umu. That's all I really got to say. Is like, her entire thing is mostly in extra. In Fate Grand Order, she's funny. She's a fun character, and I like her character when she shows up in the FGO events or interlude and stuff like that. But most of her character is carried by Fate Extra, and that is enough to get her into A tier. Siegfried, I guess C tier. I don't really... So C tier, you can think of it as not necessarily negative, it's more just full neutral. Gaius gets D tier, that's definitely negative. It's just a solid. He's funny. He does have funny moments, but I just don't care about him at all. Htlart gets EX tier, which, again, is mostly carried by Extella, but even in Fate Grand Order, and I'm going to focus it being strictly the Saber version, I'm not factoring in Santa. The Saber one does have great moments inside of Fate Grand Order, and that bumps her up for me, especially when she gets cute and just like the bad civilization thing. So Htlart is great. Thinking about it, she is a lot more in Fate Grand Order than I kind of tend to think, because I always think, oh yeah, from Extella. It's like, but no, she was introducing Fate Grand Order, and she does have a lot of great moments in Fate Grand Order. Gilles, burn. The man is not hype. Chevalier, they go into B tier. Is like, I'm not crazy about them, but I'm more than neutral about them. I like the character. They're fun. They're very fun. Okida gets A tier. I promise. Wait, let me look. I promise that the A tier will not just be Saber faces. I promise that. Oh boy, but no, Okida's a great character, and the ironic straight man to Oda Nobunaga. Ironic because she's very much not straight. Now to upset some people, specifically a dear friend of mine is going to be very upset about this, but I do not like Fergus at all. There is nothing about this character that I enjoy, and it's wild to me, because everything about him screams, like when Blackbeard was at his worst, like before the redemption arc for Blackbeard happened. Fergus is just the jock version of that to me. And that's how I've always seen him. Nothing in the story, like when he pops up and like stuff like that, has ever changed my mind about that. I am very sorry if you disagree with me, but that is just how that cookie crumbled for me. Mordred gets A tier. And I'm not going to layer this in a way, so don't think it's like, oh, she's at the bottom of A tier. No, I'm not doing that. It's just like you are in A tier or you're not in A tier. I'm not going to overcomplicate this list. So she's just solidly in A tier. Or they are, sorry. Brain. This is what I don't have a script, and I have to keep talking, or else dead space will just fill the room. But no, Mordred is they. Nero Bride. I never played Fate Extra CCC. And so I can't be completely neutral. Well, I should be completely neutral, but I'm not. Because Nero Bride just seems kinda absolutely pointless to me. And that's just mostly my own fault. That's less of the fault of the character, but this is based off of my opinion. So that's why she ends up there. But I never played Fate Extra CCC. So I don't really know the context of Nero Bride, and I don't know why Nero Bride is a 5-star limited servant in Fate Grand Order. It just feels very strange to me, and it just kind of gives that little sour taste in my mouth. But then on the opposite end, Saber Shiki gets EX tier. Saber Shiki is slept on, mostly because they gave her a bad skill set. But conceptually, like lore-wise, most powerful. She is the physical manifestation of the root, and that is the very simplified and not fully correct way of explaining that, but it gives you the gist. Ranma, B tier. Like more than neutral, enjoy them. Him. I like the tragedy of him and Sita. Lancelot will go there too. Saber Lancelot, I enjoy him. I enjoy his fun moments. Same with Gawain. They're basically kind of like conceptually like kind of hit the same notes for me, where it's just like, yeah, they're cool characters, they're fun characters, not like super hype about them, but I'm not disappointed or meh whenever they show up. I'm genuinely happy when they show up. And extra happy for Bedivere. Bedivere is finally a Saber face. No, Bedivere is technically not a Saber face, but at the same time is a Saber face. Like, he doesn't have the trait, but looking at the face, it's like he is a Saber face. So I still haven't broken that trend yet on a technical level. But still, he gets A tier. I love him. He's a good boy. And Liz gets AX tier because it's Liz. I made an entire video about how much I love Liz. This should not be shocking to anyone who's been on my channel. If you haven't been on my channel, watch that video and find out why I love Liz so much. Umusashi also gets EX tier. That's, I don't think I know a single person who wouldn't put Musashi in EX tier. There are definitely people that probably don't have Musashi as, like, their most favorite servant. I can believe that. I'm one of them. Musashi is not my most favorite Saber or anything like that, but she goes into EX tier. That's not up for debate at all, and if it is, you are already wrong about it. Good boy Arthur. Yeah, you go there. Ultimately, he is just kind of there. Which is kind of the point of him in Fate Grand Order, sort of. But even just as, like, in the franchise, like, yeah, there's Prototype. But really, what about Prototype? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Suzuka goes in, I need to be exposed to her more. I like her, but not as much as I feel like I should like her. Because she's a fun character. She's like the, trendy schoolgirl fox maiden. It's fun. It's fun to think about, and I should have more fun with it, but I just don't yet. I think I just need to be exposed to her more. Saber Fran goes into EX tier. I love Fran so much. But before the Imaginary Numbers event, she would have been an A tier, but her interaction with Melt specifically bumped her up to EX tier. Oh, that was such a great moment. That was a great event. I can't wait for the rerun so I can actually finish it, because did not expect the epilogue when I had only finished the first part on the last day. That was so upsetting. Yagyu, I actually like Yagyu. Quite a bit. Old man powers. And hey, he finally solidly broke the saber face trend. I told you it wasn't going to be all saber faces. But yeah, no, he's cool. I didn't care for him much in Shimosha, but after Shimosha, I really started to enjoy him because he kind of had like that sly old man feeling, and it's just like he could tell a joke, but you didn't really notice it was a joke until he like had that smile. It's a good character. Sigurd goes into C. I have no solid feelings about him. He looks cool. I can say that. He looks so damn cool. By God, I wish I cared about him, but for the love of God, I don't. Summer Maeve. Let's see. Summer Maeve was a bit of an absolute bitch. So she goes into B tier. I still like Maeve. But the mean girl part of that in Honolulu was a bit too much for even me to be super on board with that. Saber Diarmid. What does he do? Like, legitimately, what does he do? I love Diarmid. He's one of my favorite Lancers. What the hell does the Saber one do? Tell me. Longling, I'll put him in B tier. Prince of Longling. I love me a pretty boy. I love me a pretty boy so much. So much. Bird Gordon Ramsay goes into EX tier because it's Bird Gordon Ramsay, damn it. I shouldn't have to explain myself for every single one of these when I'm going to make an interesting content. At least I think it's interesting. Do you care about my opinions? Let me know by subscribing to the channel and liking the video if you care about my opinions. Oh, that was shameless. No, Benyanma's a treat. I adore her. Lakshmi Bai. I put way too much emphasis on parts of that I messed it up. Lakshmi, A or B. I think I have to go with B, she's not bad. I enjoy her. But she's also kind of boring. She's not, like, super interesting. Let's be real here. Jason, you're fun. I'm not a big fan of, like, the overtly asshole characters. I can find them fun, like I do Jason, but it will never go above B for me. Hokusai also goes into B. Summer Hokusai wasn't really super entertaining for me. I like Hokusai, but the summer... It's so hard sometimes to fully articulate my emotions, because sometimes it's just like, no, it's just the vibe. It's just the vibe they have. It's like Hokusai Saber is just the vibe. It's like, I kind of like the vibe, but it's like, am I crazy about the vibe? No, it's just the vibe. Astolfo gets A tier, because I love Astolfo. And Saber Astolfo is just kind of just Astolfo with a sword. So it's not really different. So Astolfo's amazing. Now Discovery, I think that's how you pronounce that, but they're interesting because before they would have been in Burn. They would have solidly been in Burn. I hate them both so much, but before I hated them so much, but now, after the Halloween event and how that opened with the two of them being so good with the kids, especially that prick, they got to be. That is 3 tiers up from when they were. And that's what just the smallest amount of good writing does. And that's why I implore everyone to just, like, really get into it, because sometimes even a single line of text can be a redemption for a character and can be interesting. And it goes back to what I'm saying about Saber. The smallest thing is enough to satisfy if it's done well. I don't need an entire interlude. It'd be cool. I don't need an entire event centered around her. Be less cool, honestly, if that did happen. Give her room dialogue. Beat Saber goes into A tier. Because she VRs. And that also goes back to the way I like Yagyu so much, because Yagyu was completely on board with this. He was completely on board with what she was doing. Which makes both of them more amazing. Saito gets B tier. I feel like I should like him more, and I want to like him more. But he hasn't hit that note for me yet. Not yet. Mushroom Head goes in the C tier because I don't care. I don't care about Mushroom Head. I genuinely don't care about Mushroom Head. Ibuki Doji. She's growing on me. Initially I didn't really care about Ibuki Doji at all. Someone didn't even like Ibuki Doji. But she's growing on me. I still prefer Shuten Doji by a mile. And Ibuki just kind of feels like poor man's Shuten. Even though they're like completely different, but it's just like, if you like Ibuki Doji but don't like Shuten, it just feels wrong to me. Because Shuten is the better character. Karna gets A tier. Just based on the pun alone of him being a saber because he uses a fist and they're both Ken. It's stupid. But I love it. It should be a fighter class. It needs to be a fighter class in this damn game. Muramasa gets A tier. I like grumpy old man Shiro. It's my favorite Shiro. Second favorite Shiro. My favorite Shiro is the one from Oath Under Snow. Because that Shiro was based as hell. Granted, old man Shiro is also based as hell. I still have the problem of the pseudo-servant thing. It just doesn't make sense conceptually, because he should be able to be summoned under his own right as a heroic spirit, because it's Muramasa, one of the most famous swords craftsmen in Japan, to the point where, to this modern day, if you think cursed katana in a story, you're thinking about Muramasa, which is also strange that it doesn't really have anything to do with cursed swords in his whole thing. Just really good swords. So it's kind of confusing. And I've been trying to think of a video about that I'm still doing research on, but there is going to be a Muramasa video, because the more I think about this character, the more they confuse me. And to the people in the comments who are going to say, oh, he's just a swords craftsman, he doesn't deserve to be a heroic spirit over that, and I'm just like, Shakespeare's just a playwright. Mozart's just a musician. They're both craftsmen who have made an indelible mark on human history. Just like Muramasa. Yes, it's just swords, but the cultural impact of those swords carries on to this day. Bargus gets EX tier because Bargus is awesome. I'm still heated. But no, I love Bargus. Bargus is such a good character. I think basically all the characters from Lost Belt 6 are going to be EX tier. Spoilers, they all are. Because that is such a good story with amazing characters. Okita Alter Summer also gets EX tier because it's Okita Alter Summer. Did you play that event? Did you? Then you know why I love her. Her and Rengoku, such a good pairing. Such a good dynamic duo. She's dumb as a bag of rocks, and I love her for it. But yeah, this is my tier list for the Saber class. Up to all the NAs, if that wasn't obvious by now. What do you think of my tier list? What are your favorite Saber servants? Look forward to when I need to do another easy video and make the Archer one. Probably will be soon, because it's the holiday season and things are wild. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope to catch you next time in the void. Later.